Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at a pretty unique kit here because, as you can tell from the box art being all monochrome like this is a P-Bandai kit and it's in the RE100 line. This is the Type 89 Bass Jabber Unicorn version. So it's just a kit of the Bass Jabber here and it's pretty cool. This one actually came out back in 2019, so I guess it hasn't been out for all that long. Just came out maybe the early part of last year. But I didn't pick it up at that time, I just recently got it. So as we can see on the box art here, it's just the Bass Jabber, but you can use this with the Jesta. You can also use it with the Jagan. Once the Jagan came out, I guess this is just a Jesta Cannon. Jesta Cannon was also a P-Bandai kit, but you can use this with the Jagan as well, and I think a couple other kits are compatible with these. You can use it pretty much with anything, but it is meant to be used with a couple of different kits in particular. So with it being a P-Bandai kit, there's not a whole lot to see around on the outside of the box, but as you can see, just got this kind of simple box art here on the front. On the top and bottom, you have just kind of a different version of that artwork there. And on the sides, just kind of the same thing around here. So I believe this kit retailed for around 3,500 yen, which is like the standard price for a RE100 kit. That said, while it's not a full mobile suit with arms, legs, and a whole bunch of articulation and everything, it is a good size box. I mean, it's the same size box as your normal RE100 kit box for like most of the line. So there is a good amount of plastic in here for this, so it's gonna be quite a few parts and some pretty large size parts as well. So you got a good amount of stuff in here. So while it may feel like you're paying a lot for just like a thing for your mobile suits to ride on, this thing does look pretty nicely detailed and pretty good size as well. Obviously, if it's gonna be able to fit a 100 scale mobile suit on it, it's got to be pretty big. So we'll take a look through all of the parts here in a moment. I just first want to take a look at this stuff we have included here, so let's see. So it looks like basically there's the Type 89 Bass Jabber and then there's the Type 89 Bass Jabber Unicorn version. I actually totally forgot that there was a separate kit for just the regular version and the Unicorn version. But anyway, the only difference is going to be the color, it looks like. So on this added part here for this version of the kit, you just got a different color guide for that. So it just shows you the stickers and the colors there. It's all just going to be in text, but you can check that out if you're interested in the official colors for this. This is going to be the actual building menu that you're going to use, as the construction is going to be exactly the same. So you've got the parts list there, the layout of the runners, the stickers, and then the color guide for the original version down there at the bottom. And it's just on through the construction. There's not really too much else to see in this. So you just kind of build it up from like kind of the main piece, and then build up all the extra parts and stuff all around that. And you've got the optional fuel tanks, which you can store on the bottom of there if you choose, or not, because if you choose not to store those on the bottom, you can put a mobile suit on the bottom as well. So over here it shows you when you're displaying it with one kit like that, or with two kits, you can have a second mobile suit riding on the bottom, which is pretty funny. Now, in order to do this though, in order to have it up in the air, it looks like you need to have a couple of action bases on it, 3 actually, which is pretty intense. That's pretty ridiculous that you need 3 action bases to hold this up. But let's just go through the runners first. Alright, so there's no polycaps with this kit, but we do have a couple of foil stickers here, basically for the front, like a front camera, and then for the front window of that, so pretty simple there. Runner A, basically the top and bottom half of the front of the Bass Jabber there. You can see some really nice details around on that in a kind of dull bluish gray color. Runner B in our pretty standard like brownish dark gray color here for some of the more like mechanical parts for that. I guess runner B1 I should say. So runner B2 here is a copy of all of that except for the 2 parts there over there on the side. In runner C1 here, back to that light bluish gray color for a few larger parts there, and then runner C2 a copy of this half of the runner over here. Runner D here in a dark brown ABS plastic is obviously parts for the fuel tank and a couple other parts on there as well. Runner D2 is a copy of all of that except for these couple parts here on the side. Runner E here, as it is just basically the main plate for like the base of the Bass Jabber, and we've got 2 of these, one for the top, one for the bottom. And finally runner F in off-white for just a couple parts on there. We got 2 of this F runner as well. So there we go. As you guys can see, not going to be the most complex thing in the world, but there is plenty of plastic in there and some nice details around on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this built up and then we'll see how it looks. Alright, so here is what it's going to look like, and unfortunately I won't be able to show you guys what it's going to look like up on an action base just because I don't have 3 or 4 action bases on hand to be able to put up to connect this thing up to them. But basically here's where you got these 2 parts here, which will go into the side for plugging on the action bases onto the side of there, and then this is the piece that you'll use to plug like your mobile suit onto here as well. So there's a little panel up underneath the bottom. The top and the bottom of this are the same except for that you got the fuel tanks attached onto the bottom here. But if you took those off, the top and the bottom are exactly the same. You've got this little panel here that lifts up like that, and I'm just showing you guys how this looks like on the top. This is what you'll do onto the bottom for plugging your mobile suit onto there. So again, if this is the bottom of it, you can imagine that, like, then your mobile suit's action base adapter will plug into here, and then this plug will go down into the action base, holding the whole thing up. So that's how that'll work. Anyway, and then we do also just have the other set of handles here as well for the bottom side, if you're having one on the top and one on the bottom. But anyway, if you're just having it just like this, not really a whole lot on this really moves or anything. These handles don't move at all. These parts here back at the for the feet, those will move a little bit. You have these little teeth that come out there at the back, that those just pop out, so those just move forward and back there like that. These little handle bits here on the side don't move, those are just fixed in place there. The little feet on the bottom here, those don't move. These little thruster bells, none of this stuff moves. It's all just fixed in place there, but the fuel tanks are cool. For our stickers, we got this little yellow sticker down underneath here. You got the sticker here for the canopy or the windshield. It's not literally the windshield, what do you call that? Window here at the front, and then these little gray stickers here on the front of there also. So you got a few stickers around there on that, but otherwise very nicely detailed. You got some seam line going on the side of this all the way across the side of that, so you got a little bit of seam line work ahead of you if you're going to be painting this up. But it is, again, very nicely detailed and quite large, actually, very large, as you'd expect. It's meant for 100 scale mobile suits, but it's a little bit larger actually than I was expecting, really, so it's pretty cool. And as it is, I mean, the seam lines are not great, but anything else that I would change about it, really, I really would have preferred if this was an actual, like, clear yellow piece here for the front. That would have been nice instead of just a sticker for that, or even just like a plain clear. Anyway, just a clear piece, having that in there would have been so much more nicer. These little gray stickers here on the side, I mean, I can deal with that. The little camera sticker there on the bottom, that's fine, but just having a clear part there on the front definitely would have been preferable. But then again, always the seam lines on there also are not great, but you know, that's just kind of a thing. For an example here, we can look at something. I unfortunately don't have a Jagan or a Jesta on hand to demonstrate this, but we'll just take a look at this with the Regazi. I know it's not really exactly a quite fitting example, but it's something similar in size and similarly a sort of grunt suit anyway, but just so you guys can get the idea of kind of how that's going to look on there, how your kind of typical slightly larger 100 scale grunt suit is going to look on this. And as you can see, this particular kit doesn't have the ability to put the feet back at a little bit more of an angle to fit back into these kind of foot parts there, but you can still see, I mean, it still looks pretty cool. I mean, even though it's not really made for this kit, and the kit is kind of just like, I've just kind of very quickly put it on there, but I still think, I mean, it still looks pretty cool. I mean, if this is something that you are wanting to do with your kits, building this into a diorama or something like that, it's a pretty interesting thing to have. And like, for if you didn't want to have some of these parts on here, like the fuel tanks on the bottom, the landing gear on the bottom, things like that, you can just remove those parts if you want and modify that. So this is definitely something that I think is probably going to be best if you're planning on doing some work. So it's going to take some work doing all the seam line removal, and for me, I do still plan on just probably modifying this some anyway as well. So as it is, just straight out the box, you know, maybe not the most exciting thing, but if you're wanting to modify this a little bit, do some work, building this into a diorama, it definitely could be pretty cool. So really like this. It's very interesting just for what it is. I think it's not really something I would recommend for everyone, but it's something that if it's what you were looking for, if it's something you wanted to use for your 100 scale RE or master grade kits, then it's something that could be pretty cool. So I know this is a pretty short and simple review, guys, but it's a pretty simple kit, so hopefully this just gave you guys an idea of what you can expect if this is something that you wanted to pick up for yourself. If you have any other further questions or comments, though, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. I just wanted to give you guys a look at the kit, so hopefully this was just a quick and helpful video for any of you guys who are maybe interested in this. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye, guys.